Hello there, my name is Kevin Baker, and I am a technical support specialist with Profound Logic. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to debug your Profound.js programs with Chrome DevTools. To start off, make sure you are located in the directory where you installed Profound.js. For me, that is located on my desktop and in my Profound.js folder. Once you are located in your Profound.js directory, you will just need to enter node inspect start no worker. What this inspect will do is listen for a debugger that you will attach from Chrome in just a few seconds here, and no worker will prevent any extra threads from spawning. Therefore, your program only runs on the main thread, which is exactly what you want for debugging. So go ahead and hit enter, and it will tell you that the debugger is now listening on a hostname and a port. For me, this is the same as localhost 9229. So make sure to remember this information so you can plug it into Chrome, and we are good to go. Switching to Chrome now, I have my Profound.js IDE open for my instance, which we will need in just a second. But for now, let's open up a new tab and head to chrome://inspect. This will open up the devices page. From here, you can click Configure to add the host name and port from earlier. For me, it is simply localhost 9229, and hit Done. It may take a moment, but once you see your target, you can go ahead and click Open Dedicated DevTools for Node to open the debugger. Once you have your debugger open, you can go ahead and launch your module. For this example, I will be using the Connect4 module, which is included in all PJS samples libraries. Once you have your module launched, you can go ahead and find it under the Sources and Node tabs, and then simply find your file. Now that we have our program open in the debugger, it's a good time to talk about the different tabs in DevTools. Connection is the tab where you add connections, such as the one we did earlier with localhost 9229. Your console is going to be where your error messages or other diagnostic messages are printed. Sources is the source debugger where you can view your code, set breakpoints, step over into, and view variables. Both memory and profiler are used for debugging performance problems. But for this example, we're going to stay on the Sources tab to show you how to debug your code. To set a breakpoint, you can simply click along the number line here. For this example, I'm going to put one right here to pause it right when it's checking if the move is valid. So now, if we go to our program and we enter a dot, you will see that the code pauses here. Now is a good time to talk about step over, step into, and step out. To find these, you can go up to the top right here or use the hotkeys F10 for step over, F11 for step into, and Shift F11 for step out. Step is simply F9. Step will go line by line, so if we hit step, it will move us to the next if statement here, checking if there is 4 in a row. Now let's say I am pretty certain that the 4 in a row function works fine, so I don't really want to go into the function. So what I can do, instead of hitting step into the function call, instead I can select step over, which will then send us to the else if clause to check if it's tied. So let's hit step over, and it brings us to this clause. Now let's say I'm not certain that the tied function is correct and I kind of want to debug it. I can now hit step into, and it will bring us to the tied function. Right now is a good time to talk about the call stack. The call stack is a last in, first out data structure and is essentially a list of the function calls. Since we are currently in the tied function that is at the top of the list, then drop, then connect for, etc. So if we hit step out of, which will essentially move us up a layer or down in this list, you will see that it will now move to drop because that is the function we are now located in. That is also the purpose of the step out of function. If you think that the function you are in is working fine, it will bring you back to the previous function and continue where you left off. From here, you can simply click Resume Script Execution or F8 to finish your code, and the dot is placed in the program. Moving on, you can also view variable values and types through various means, such as the Watch and Scope tabs. As an example, let's go ahead and remove this breakpoint here, or deactivate it by using this checkbox, and I'm going to place one here. Now if we go ahead and place a dot, you will see that it pauses at this breakpoint. To check the value of variables, you can hover over them, and it will tell you the value, as it does here as well, or you can also check the Scope tab. After we hide some of this, you can see in the local function that column and row are both 0. If we now step, you can now see that the column has been incremented to 1. If you don't want to go through Scope to find your specific variables or functions, you can also go to the Watch tab. You can use this plus button to add an expression. So for this example, we will use column, as well as the function for in a row. You can also use typeof to figure out what kind of expression it is. So for column, it will show us that it is a number. Whereas for in a row, it'll show us that it is a function. And as we step, you can now easily see the value of column. And now column has been incremented. This is a good time to reiterate that this is debugging Node.js. Despite the code also being JavaScript, this is not the same as debugging browser-side JavaScript. For instance, if we close this debugger and we right-click our window here and inspect, and then we can head to sources, we can go to our file system and go to the connect4.js as well. But now if we set a breakpoint in the exact same place and we click, you can see that the breakpoint does not stop the execution of the program. This is because this is running on our server, whereas this is debugging local JavaScript. Therefore, despite looking the same and debugging in Chrome, where you would most likely expect browser-side debugging, this is debugging on your server. This concludes our tutorial on debugging your local Profound.js instance, but if you would like to debug a remote Profound.js instance, you can simply use the same command we used earlier and add equals to the end of inspect. Then you can add your custom IP address as well as port. But as far as the rest of the steps, they are all the same. Thank you for watching. If you would like to learn more about debugging Node.js, as well as using Chrome DevTools, I've included a couple links in the description of this video that can give you more information, especially the Chrome documentation. Make sure to check that out if you would like to get more familiar with the debugger. For more helpful tutorials with Profound UI and Profound.js, make sure to check out our channel and be on the lookout for new videos. Till next time.